Hey YouTube, 2 weeks to go left in the GBL season, and this is definitely the worst one. Master League Open or Ultra League Fantasy Cup, which is only Dragon, Steel, and Fairy. And let me just show you how out of touch Niantic is with GBL right now. The following Pokemon will not be allowed: Galarian, Stunfisk, and Cobalion. And you think like, okay, they're like dominant Steels and a Fairy Steel Dragon typing. Why would they? That's fine. That is fine, but they're also the only two answers, not only two answers, but they're the two main answers to Registeel, and they don't ban Registeel. So Registeel first and second, Shadow, non-Shadow. Every team that I tried to put together recommended Registeel because, again, Fairies are going to be walled by it. Dragons, if they have a Dragon move, is going to be walled by it. It just charges so fast. It's bulky. Nukes. It's running Flash Cannon. Well, one of them's running Flash. Yeah, they're actually both running Flash Cannon because Flash Cannon will hit super effective against the Fairies, and electric is resisted by the dragons. So Flash Cannon is just a better option. And there you go. Registeel plus others, essentially. So really, really poor planning on Niantic's part here. So you need to watch out for Registeel. Looking at the other ones, let's just go with the Fairies first. There's, again, only 3 typings, right? Fairy, Dragon, and Steel. So in terms of Fairies, you have the ones, let's just start with the Fairies that really can't hit Steels. Clefable at 19 and Florga is at 11. Again, super strong Fairies in their own. Fairy Wind fast charging, but just like will not have anything to throw at Steels, but will obviously dominate Dragons and do decent against other Fairies. The other Fairies on this list that have play are Tapu Fini at 3, Slurpuff at 5, and Weezing at 9. And it's because Weezing and Slurpuff both have fire type moves, Overheat and Flamethrower. So it allows you to hit those Steels with coverage with the normal Fairy typing play rough Fairy type moves for Dragons. Right? So great combo for there. Or if you want a third, you just go Tapu Fini, which just has Water Gun sort of neutral in most situations. Again, Dragon also resists water, so you gotta watch out for that. But again, as a Fairy yourself, you will resist Dragon type moves. So those are your Fairies. Let's go into the main Steels on this list. I mean, outside of Registeel, which I've already gone over. What is Genesect typing? Genesect is a Steel. Genesect is a Steel. Sandslash is the one I mostly want to cover. Escav 2. Excadrill. Lucario. Turtonator. I think Turtonator's second typing is Dragon, but I am unsure with that one, so just let me check that. And then that's basically it for the Steels. Anyways, Steels in this meta, I think, are strong because Steels on their own resist Dragon and they resist other Steel type moves and Fairy, right? So Steel in itself is strong. A Sandslash, obviously having the Shadow Claws is such a good neutral move. Plus Joe Run is, and it charges fast, so that's why Sandslash is so high. Escav as a counter user is key, right? Because you just hit super effective for all the other Steels. And then Draw Run and Acid Spray, you can kind of run whatever you want as the second move outside of Draw Run. Excadrill, super spammy with the Mud Shot, Draw Run, Rock Slide combo. Lucario, again, counter user, good in this. I'm guessing this is a Dragon type. Yeah, Fire and Dragon type, that makes sense. And so that's how the... let me actually... I think Solgaleo... Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this one. Solgaleo? Solgaleo is a Psychic and Steel typing. So again, Steel resisting other Steel, resisting Dragon, and resisting Fairy. So nice typing. Fire Spin fast move. So that is great for all those Steels. And then Iron Head will be for your Fairies. And then Psychic Fangs just to kind of lower defense, and Fire Spin as a bait move and to just a Fire Spin. So good options for Steel, decent for Fairy. Dragons are always the tricky one. Again, in the Dragon meta, in a meta with Steel and Fairy where you resist, if you're a pure Dragon with like Dragon Tail, I'm looking at Zygarde at 18, like that's where you're gonna have trouble. So that other Dragons you see on this list are not Dragons first. They're other typings first, right? So Flygon is half ground, and you get that with the Mud Shot and Earth Power combo there, right? So Deadly, Mud Shot, Earth Power combo for the Steels, Dragon Claw for other Dragons, right? So you can still stand there. And then Again, having at least something earth power to throw at the fairies. So nice coverage all around there. Guillotine altered. It's running Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw for the other dragons, Shadow Sneak just for neutral situations. Super bulky, resist. Actually, I was going to say resist all of Registeel's move, but not if it's running Flash Cannon. But just like, again, if you've played Ultra League, you know what Giratina does. What else is on this list that I have not covered? Zygarde, again, some people may have Zygarde. I guess it'll be sort of like one of the best dragons in this with Crunch and Earthquake. Earthquake, again, great coverage move for the steals. But again, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, that seems like a long time to charge there. And they also are running Giratina Origin here as well, right? So if you don't want to run Altered, you can run Origin. Those are your top 20 rankings. So I just put some teams together. Started with, of course, Registeel because it is dominant. Your main weaknesses are steals. Some of the steals, like the counter user steals, Lucario and Escav, Solgaria with fire, Flygon with the earth power. So Tapu Fini, easy core here, dominates them all. Pick a third. I just tried Flygon because I think Flygon is a nice answer for Registeel, and I'm if I can have kind of 1 to 2 answers for Registeel on all my teams, I'm going to, because I think it's gonna be so dominant. So Flygon as a nice third there to answer Registeel. So team number 2, I actually got this team. So it's not the exact same team, but it's the same backline. I was actually putting it together and it works because I was just going through my submissions because I'm off, like I'm filming this in advance. So I'm going to be tough putting out videos when this league rolls around. So I was looking through my submissions and there is a team from Ultra League Fantasy Cup way back in the day. It was like one of my first submissions and the battles were still there. And the team that they submitted that I'm going to film next to showcase tomorrow, Friday, is, what was the lead? Excadrill, sandslash in the back, and Tapu Fini in the front, right? So it's basically, and it's the same concept. You have 2 steals in the back that are going to have their main weaknesses to fighters, right? Sandslash and Excadrill weak to fighting and fire for that matter, but there's not a ton of fire in this. Weak to fighting, so you pull out a fighter. Both are super spammy and super good just in neutral situations, right? Like you can see Excadrill doesn't have any hard losses because it's just so spammy with the mud shots, drill runs, and rock sides. Sandslash is going to get lit up by counter users because you're double weak to counter, but you can still like chip and stuff like that. And then you have your fairy to punish it. They used a water fairy because it will deal better with fires and not make you sort of triple weak to fire. Not triple weak, but like fire resist fairy. So it's kind of rough if you don't have if you only have fairy moves, which you don't. You can run like overheat or yeah, I think you're probably gonna run play rough and overheat as the moves on Galarian Weezing. And then your other punish, and then your other steel roams free. So the Tapu Fini double steel team tomorrow. It worked in the video. It looks like it's going to work here. The concept works on paper, so it should be pretty good to use. Can you see double fairy? Yes, and I think it's actually somewhat easier in this meta that Slurpuff is so safe with flamethrower. So I put in Turtonator. It is the fire Pokemon on the lead, and then 2 fairies in the back because the fairies are going to get walled by steals. But Slurpuff has flamethrower, so Slurpuff is your safe swap. Come in there if you get hit with a steel like Registeel or whatever. You have flamethrower for it. If you get hit with the Tapu Fini or something like that, you can just spam. Tapu Fini would actually be an issue because you are double weak there. So maybe but you can get a bunch off. So maybe you want a different third. I used it because it is the hardest answer to steals, like Registeel, Slurgo, Solgaleo, Magnezone, right? So if you're going to get walled there, you probably want to fire, but Tapu Fini will be an issue. So again, if you're seeing a Tad and Tapu Fini, maybe switch the lead, but again, double fairy backline works, especially with Slurpuff having the flamethrower access. Or you can use Galarian Weezing, same thing. You can use Galarian Weezing with overheat as your safe swap. And the last one was just kind of a balanced team. I still think it's going to be mostly like Registeel and fairies and everything, but I'm like, let's just put in these other Pokemon that will have play but aren't amazing. So Escav, again, a counter user. So their steals. Drowan still hurts in neutral situations. Escav is just generally safe. Giratina Altered, again, there are dragons in this and there are fairies, which makes you tough, but you are super, super bulky. That you're mostly going to be relying on your ghost type moves anyways. And then Clefable as a fairy. Again, you can use any other fairy, but just Clefable is pretty safe, just how spammy it is. So those are the teams. It's gonna be an interesting. I was gonna say interesting meta. I don't think interesting in the word is the word. I think narrow is the meta. I think you're gonna see Registeel and Tapu on a ton of teams. I think you're gonna see a bunch of fairies that have the secondary typing moves like Slurpuff and Wheezing with the Overheat and the Flamethrower to be able to hit those steals. So I expect those a lot. I expect a ton of a Sandslash as a really, really good answer to fairies and steals. Like I expect a ton of a Sandslash. And then if you don't have a Sandslash, you can use some of these other steals, Lucario, Escav, Excadrill. I think those are pretty good. Again, Steel in this meta should be overrepresented because Walls Fairy and Walls Steel moves, right? Again, a lot of these things have secondary moves that can hit you, but on the surface, that's why I think they're highly rated and I think they'll be pretty good. But that is it. So stay tuned tomorrow for sure tomorrow I'll have the double steel team I just mentioned. I should be able to shoot one tonight, league turnover night. So I should be able to shoot one tonight for Saturday, but then I'm on the road Friday and I won't be able to shoot for Saturday or Sunday. So with that, actually I may be able to shoot in the morning. So on Sunday you're either gonna get one more team of this, or you're just gonna get like a random like short or whatever. So stay tuned for that. But we will mostly play. Let me know in the comments below what you're playing, if anything. It's really ugly, right? Because it's a limited Ultra Steel meta, Ultra League meta, or Open Master League. So both are tricky to play if you don't have the Mons. So let me know in the comments below what you are playing, and I will try to battle accordingly. So that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.